Welcome to all the Sagittarius rising signs of the zodiac. We are talking about your astrology in this video for the month of March. Trust you're doing well. In short, before we talk about the planets in transits in the month of March, it's a big mixed bag. So I'm going to be doing my very best from my astrological experience to unpack the planets in transit for you in this video. So let's talk about first your ruling planet, Jupiter. It's in the seventh house of Gemini, and this is about other people. So a lot of activity going on with other people, contracts, agreements. It's the house of endings and it's the house of rest and pleasure. So that's the focus for you because your ruling planet Jupiter is there. The only caveat is that Jupiter, your ruling planet, is in detriment in Gemini. So in short, not a particularly favorable zodiac sign for your ruling planet to be in. So this indicates that there could be a lot of fluctuations going on with relationships and people around you, trying to come to resolution or dealing with endings in their lives, contracts and agreements being quite intellectually dense. So with your ruling planet there in Gemini in that seventh house can be quite trying on you as a Sagittarius rising. So keep that in your back pocket. And with that in mind, let's talk about the very active month of March through the lens of astrology. So we'll talk about planet Venus first, opening up the video. From the 1st to the 27th of March, Venus will be retrograde in Aries. And this part of your chart is to do with intimate relationships, children, and pleasure. So what you can experience here with Venus retrograde from the 1st to the 27th of March is hearing a lot of dissatisfaction coming from friends, your social circles, co-workers, your workmates, your workplace, and health, pets, and services. Just everything's just not matching up. So this can feel like a very whiny retrograde for Venus in Aries in your fifth house of joy. It's as if everything of our dense realities are really pulling on our chains, and it becomes a little lackluster when it comes to you trying to harmonize with your sense of fun, with your intimate relationships and children, and what you do for enjoyment is sort of overshadowed by all of the whining going on and changes going on with health, services, pets, and your social circles. Just letting you know, Sagittarius rising, things just aren't great, but it has a knock on effect on your actual sense of enjoyment. So it can be quite melancholy with Venus retrograding in Aries from the 1st to the 27th of March. On the 3rd, Mercury ingresses into Aries, and this is also joining retrograde Venus and Aries in your fifth house. So this can also double down on the, for better words, social dramas and problems going on regarding workplace situations, superiors in the workplace, your role in the workplace, being focused, and also your commitments with contracts, agreements, and what you might want to put to bed seems to be difficult because Mercury's in Aries in your fifth house, and that's where it's about joy and intimacy, sex and children. But it's almost like all the work, contracts and agreements are overshadowing you trying to organically connect with things that usually make your heart sing. So again, doubling down on the complexities of things just all aren't rosy. It seems to be all work and no play, and no one's concerned. And it may be really weighing on you trying to enjoy your life, enjoy what you need to do. But there's so many social work and contractual demands to be factored into, and it's having a knock-on effect with children, your intimate partnerships, and what you want to do for pleasure. On the 7th, Mars trines the Sun. This can be a financial leg up coming from another person's finances. So this could be like a loan or an inheritance that improves the family unit or home dynamics, like for renovations, or you find that someone's left you some money and it gives the family unit a leg up on the 7th of March. So expect some good financial news coming your way that helps your actual home life or with parents, parenting, or your property. On the 11th, Mercury conjuncts retrograde Venus. This is where the noise is turned from 0 to 11. So expect so much information coming towards you that you just may feel like you want to scream. I'm being very practical when I'm talking about the planets in transits. This is noise from your friends, social connections, the workplace, work, health, services, pets. Everyone's demanding attention, and contracts and agreements, and all your relationships are just nagging at you. And it may seem like you are trying to do your very best to keep your head above water and keep your head level. So the 11th of March can be quite exacerbating. The same day, the Sun conjuncts Saturn in Pisces, your 4th house. This heralds a new changing of the guard in the home, the family unit, or with a parent. Is something quite almost sobering is happening on the 11th regarding a changing of the guard when it comes to something that's going on behind closed doors in your private life. On the 13th, Uranus sextiles the Sun. Here comes a curveball from a co-worker, a service, a pet, or a health issue impacting the family home, your family life, something in private is getting a curveball, so expect some disruption on the 13th. Moving on to the 14th, we have a total lunar eclipse in Virgo, your 10th house. This needs time and respect, talking about our first lunar eclipse of 2025. Just having a drink of water. Okay. So the 14th of March, our first eclipse of 2025, and this lunar eclipse is happening for you, Sagittarius rising in your 10th house of Virgo. Keeping in mind, keeping in your pocket, if you will, that Mercury, the ruler of Virgo, is in your 5th house, which is children, your romantic partnerships, your creative pursuits. So total lunar eclipse in Virgo. Okay, so this is public. It's public name, how you're seen, how you're known. It's superiors in the workplace, it's achievements, it's accolades, it's your career, it's advancement. So a total lunar eclipse in Virgo is indicating an advancement, an achievement coming from either a child or a romantic partnership or a creative project that you are connected to in some way, shape, or form, getting public recognition. A total lunar eclipse is very different from the normal full moon phase, which is what this is. But the lunar eclipse is something very different, which I would like to explain to you so there's no confusion. Lunar eclipses indicate changes in environments for a child or an intimate relationship or a creative project connected to work, superiors, or a public name. It also indicates that a mother figure is the focus at the time of this lunar eclipse in your 10th house. That could be a mother of a romantic partner. That could be you as a parent to a child being quite significant, like you showing the ropes on this is how you can achieve this. Look what I've done. And you sort of are paying it forward in regards to look at what work, time, and effort can do. Look at what I've achieved. And a child takes notice, for example. So mother figures do factor into lunar eclipses in the 10th house of your public life or public recognition, or a mother is going through some sort of transition themselves, and that could be, like I said, an intimate partner's mother, or you or your mother could be up in the spotlight for some reason, whether it's a public achievement or, in Virgo, a health issue. The next day, on the 15th, Mercury goes retrograde in Aries, ruling that 10th house and the 7th house, where your ruling planet Jupiter is in Gemini. for Mercury also rules Virgo, the 10th house. So now Mercury goes retrograde for the 15th, and Mercury will be retrograde for the rest of March. Okay, so Mercury retrograde now in your 5th house. So Mercury in retrogrades indicates setbacks, delays, and reevaluations. So reevaluating work, your public life, achievements, relationships, contracts, things that you want to put to bed and end. And again, this can have a knock-on effect with your children, if applicable, romantic partnership, or a creative endeavor that you are involved with. So expect a slowdown. Recalibration time is what's indicated when it comes to Mercury retrograde in your 5th house of Aries from the 15th of March. On the 19th, the Sun conjuncts Neptune in Pisces. This can feel like there is a solar figure stepping out of the limelight, being less dominant in your home life. The end of a chapter for a family unit or a parent is indicated on the 19th of March, changing of the guard. On the 20th, it's the spring equinox in the southern hemisphere beginning, and it's the beginning of the autumn equinox. Sorry, did I say southern? On the 20th, the spring equinox begins in the northern hemisphere and the autumn equinox begins in the southern hemisphere. So equinox is a new season, new freshness, a changing of the guard, if you will, for all of us on the 20th of March. No matter where you're situated on our gorgeous planet, there is big change coming. The same day on the 20th, the Sun ingresses into Aries, your 5th house, and this is the Sun's sign of exaltation, and the Sun will be here in Aries, your 5th house, for 4 weeks. And whilst also that is happening on the 20th, it's the beginning of the new astrological year. So astrologers consider when the Sun is at 0 degrees of Aries, that it is the beginning of a new year. So happy new year to all the astrology enthusiasts out there. Okay, so let's talk about the Sun in Aries. Well, it's exalted, which in short, this is the ideal position, if you will, for the Sun to be in. And the Sun rules the zodiac sign of Leo, and Leo for you is your 9th house of international and foreign connections, travel destinations, higher education, legalities, bureaucracy. It's to do with your spiritual beliefs and values, your spiritual practices. It's about philosophy on life. It's about growth, expansion, the bigger things in life. That's the 9th house, and the Sun rules that 9th house. Well, it's transiting in Aries, where it's exalted in your 5th house of children, your intimate relationships, your creative projects. So what does this indicate in short for Sagittarius rising signs? Where the ideal, if you will, the Sun, optimum path forward regarding joy, expansion, and growth is coming within the outside world. And it's having a knock-on effect with your creative pursuits, your children, if applicable, and your romantic partnerships. So this is bigger themes like let's have an international travel holiday together, or let's start a university degree together, or let's start a legal proceeding together. Let's look at a spiritual practice that we can bring into our experience on the day to day. So for 4 weeks, this could be the focus, and it could be coming from foreign people, places, and faces as well, with this transit impacting your creative pursuits, what you find joy in, children, and intimate relationships. Okay, so from the 20th, things get really quite complex with the planetary alignments and aspects. Okay, here we go, Sagittarius rising. On the 21st, retrograde Venus sextiles Pluto in Aquarius. This indicates reconnections with siblings, cousins, short distance travel commutes, becoming more easier for children, your creative hobbies and intimate relationships are reconnecting with immediate family or an old haunt on the 21st, or a child could go back to an environment, a teaching environment or educational environment as well on the 21st. On the 23rd, the Sun conjuncts retrograde Venus. So this indicates a Sun conjunct retrograde Venus, that there could be a return of a conversation regarding a friend, a social connection, contract, or an agreement online that needs focus on the 23rd. So you may be needed on this day. On the 24th, the Sun conjuncts retrograde Mercury, indicating that there can be a return of information or financial rewards from a work project, or again a contract agreement or a relationship gives you a financial leg up, or information that you thought was missing in translation lands on the 24th. So the 24th would be a day to mark in your calendar, quite good for recovering finances and important information. On the 27th, retrograde Venus ingresses back into Pisces, her zodiac sign of exaltation, your fourth house, and conjuncts Neptune. Okay, so the 27th is a big day. And why is it big? Because retrograde Venus is going back into her zodiac sign of Pisces. It's just her sign of exaltation. So we have the Sun exalted, so a very happy Sun. And we have Venus now exalted again, now that she's retrograding back into Pisces from the 27th of March, moving into April. Your fourth house. So your fourth house is your home, your family, real estate, property, parents, parenting. It's the house of privacy. It's your lineage. It's your heritage. It's your roots. It's your foundations. That's your fourth house. So when Venus retrogrades back into here, this indicates that there can be recovery regarding those topics and subjects of the fourth house. And that could be because of things coming to resolution, or could also indicate because of friends or social connections, also indicating that they may have some easier times dealing with the past or their family or parents as well. So friends telling you that things are better in their home or their home life's improving. But Venus retrograding, because she does rule that 11th house and the 6th house, you may also be doing things like returning to services to improve your home life, recovering from a health issue in your home. You may also look at maybe getting a pet as well when Venus is retrograding back into your fourth house of home and family, because she rules that 6th house of pets. Okay, moving on to the 29th. We're getting to the end of the month now, Sagittarius rising. On the 29th, retrograde Mercury ingresses back into Pisces. And that's your fourth house of privacy, home, parents, parenting. So Mercury rules that 10th house and that 7th house. So when Mercury goes back into Pisces, its zodiac sign of fall and detriment, this indicates potentially a lot of confusion, a lot of conversations that have been left unsaid, paperwork or financial aspects regarded to the fourth house now need to be addressed. When Mercury ingresses back into Pisces, that bit can be quite confusing and a little intellectually draining. The same day on the 29th, we have our second eclipse of March, and that's a partial solar eclipse in Aries in your fifth house. So we know that the Sun rules the ninth house for you, and it's in the fifth house, and it's a partial solar eclipse. So this is quite a powerful new beginning for either yourself and what you do creatively, an intimate relationship, or a child. Something brand new is beginning. It could have a knock-on effect from a father figure, or the topics of parenting, fathering can also be factoring into this brand new beginning in your fifth house. So I would say for the Sagittarius rising signs, a father's having a big impact on children, intimacy, or a creative project that you're connected to, or they are starting a new creative project, or topics of children. There's a brand new beginning for their children, or potentially a new start with their intimate relationship as well. But that Sun ruling that ninth house can also, for me, astrologically indicate that this new beginning, which is quite powerful, is coming from something international, foreign, to do with higher education, philosophy, or a legal proceeding, something to do with bureaucracy or law. And it's having a knock-on effect with your fifth house. So this is a powerful new beginning. Like solar eclipses are no BS. And in Aries, the zodiac sign of let's start, it's like this is a whole new changing of the guard. And it could have to do with fathering, parenting, or a father figure. It can have to do with leadership, entrepreneurship. So think of a child or an intimate relationship all of a sudden stepping up to the plate and becoming more responsible, more father-like, more mature. Or you take your creative hobbies and projects a lot more seriously because maybe you want to put them on the public world stage, or maybe a parent gave you a leg up and all of a sudden you have an opportunity to express it to foreigners. You get the picture. It's not a fair weather eclipse. It's quite weighty. It's quite big. So there's too many nuances connected to the probabilities, but that's sort of the angle I'm coming from for the Sagittarius rising signs. Brand new spanking beginning in the fifth house. Going to have a lot to do with fathers and something international, something creative, trying to start for a child or an intimate relationship in your life. Very, very interesting. Okay, moving on to the 30th, we have retrograde Mercury conjunct Neptune. So this can be the dissolution or resolution moment that you've been waiting for regarding ending something in the home. Could be a family dispute, a property matter now comes to peace on the 30th. We also on the 30th have Saturn sextile Uranus. And so this could be this also heralds another very determined, very mature decision coming from something in the family unit or home that is going to change work, health, services, labor and illness and pets. So something big is changing here. It's a sextile, so it might be easier to deal with the realities of pets and home life, your health issues and home life, co-workers and work in your home life. You get the picture. Things become a little bit easier to deal with on the day-to-day. And the last thing that happens on the 30th of March is Neptune ingressing into Aries. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of water and we're going to talk about this. Okay, so Neptune hasn't been in Aries for 165 years, so kind of a big deal when we're coming from an astrological lens. Okay, so as you've heard throughout this video, that the focus is on your fourth and fifth house. So Neptune's been in your fourth house of Pisces since 2011. And now it's going to ingress into Aries from the 30th of March up until July 5th. And then it'll go into a retrograde in Aries and then ingress back into Pisces, your fourth house. So all is not said and done, if you will, with Neptune in your fourth house of Pisces. So think of this as a soft opening. So what's a soft opening? It's an official opening, but it's not official. It's like dipping your toes in. This is potentially what can happen. So let's talk about Neptune in Aries. A very different transit from Neptune in Pisces. Neptune's now going into Aries, which is a cardinal fire yang zodiac sign. In short, this is about action, movement, forward motion, initiation, change, strategic planning to make something grow and flourish. Aries is a spring sign. It's about growth. It's about bringing things in that are new. So with Neptune in Aries, we are talking about Neptune, the planet of inspiration, creativity, illusion, delusion, fantasy, fogginess. We're talking about the characteristics of Neptune being confusing. And you put Neptune in Aries, in go get 'em Aries, let's start something, let's do something. In your fifth house, Sagittarius rising of children, intimacy, sex, and pleasure pursuits. This is going to be less than boring for sure. High highs, low lows, hard to keep up a momentum. Then all of a sudden the energy's there to get going. And this is all affecting your fifth house. So Neptune, getting creative, having fun. Where can you inject life force? And where is the deception coming from? Because Neptune can be deception. Is there deception regarding the fair weather, if you will, energy of children or intimacy, sex, romantic partnerships? Because Aries, because it's a Mars ruled zodiac sign, has trouble staying with a momentum. It loses steam quite quickly and interest quickly. And with Neptune in Aries in the fifth house, a Mars ruled zodiac sign, from the 30th of March to the 5th of July when it's direct, it's as if there's moments of, you can see through the cracks of where there are possible flaws, or where intimate partnerships, your creative pursuits and hobbies, or children may be struggling, or where you may be struggling with coming to terms with the realities of children, intimacy, sex, and what you do creatively for fun. So it's not going to be a boring transit, but again, it does indicate that soft opening of starting to see the forest with the trees, and where you need to pick up the slack regarding keeping up a momentum and keep the life force going here in the fifth house of joy and pleasure, or helping your children, if applicable, or a romantic partner keep up the life force regarding what they need to be keep inspired to keep something going, to make a dream, a reality come to pass. You get the picture. So it will be interesting from the 30th of March to the 5th of July. And keeping in your back pocket, Neptune will be going back into your fourth house of Pisces. So what does that mean in short? So we're all excited. We can see the realities of everything, what we can improve, what we need to do, how do we make water into wine, where do we need to keep up that fertile energy of Aries when it need to grow. And then when Neptune goes back into Pisces, your fourth house, this can indicate for Sagittarius rising signs that the imagination, the illusion and delusion may be coming from the structures of your home or family unit and environment. Topics of parents, parenting could be factoring into things coming together organically in the fourth house, or the psychological components of your lineage, your heritage, your roots, your ancestry. Those sorts of things might be on your mind and influencing that fifth house. Okay. So that's what I get with the Sagittarius risings with Neptune ingressing into Aries. Okay, so that's your astrology for the month of March. I'm sure I've given you plenty to chew over and contemplate. Feel free to leave any comments in the comments section below. I welcome interaction from the public. I'm going to leave it there. I'm exhausted, aren't you? Till next time, Sagittarius rising. Stay cosmic.